And now, prepare your ear holes for penetration as we bring you another great podcast from the Poop Culture Extended Universe.
Before we get to the podcast, I want to let you know about our new sponsor, Sudio. Sudio wants to revolutionize the way people see headphones by bridging the gap between fashionable headphones without quality sound and high-tech headphones that are bulky and not design-oriented to bring you their line of headphones. They sent me a pair of their Regent-style Bluetooth wireless headphones to try out, and I gotta tell you, they're literally rocking my world. I've been prancing all over the place without worry of snagging any wires, jamming to my playlist while washing dishes, shopping for groceries, and even attempting to lift weights. They even passed my heavy metal headbanging test, and that's thanks all to the comfort, style, and quality sound these headphones provide. The Regent Bluetooth wireless headphones are Studio's premium model with impeccable clarity in the instrumental tones and well-balanced sound. It can connect to any device that offers Bluetooth, but also has an auxiliary cord if you don't want to use the wireless option. Also, with the 24-hour plus active battery life and 20 days of standby life, the Regent is perfect for you at home and on the go. And lastly, you can personalize your Regent interchangeable caps, such as white or black marble designs, with many other designs to customize your Regent headphones. So, go to the website at studio.com and use the promo code REWIND for 15% off. That's 15% off your purchase of these quality sound and fashionable headphones. And now, to the show. Hey dudes and dudettes, thanks for tuning into this episode of the Be Kind and Rewind podcast, a podcast chock full of everything that is nostalgic about the 80s, 90s, and more, where we chat with our favorite celebrities about our nostalgic VHS days. I'm your host, Carlos, and this episode, we're feeling the rhythm and feeling the rhyme as I'm joined by the man you've been watching play a badass mother who don't take no crap off of nobody as Junior in the Disney classic Cool Runnings, among many other awesome roles as well. You can also find him on the stage performing his stand-up all over the world in a city near you. So I'll welcome Rawle D Lewis to the show.
What's up?
What's going on, Rawle? Thanks for taking the time to be on the podcast. I know many of our listeners are stoked to hear you, especially with the recent Olympics just ending. So I appreciate you taking that time.
Did you watch that?
I mean, you can only watch so much Olympics, you know. There's only so much curling you can take, and almost so much cross country and shooting. So, do you get recognized? Does your people recognize you a little bit more once Olympics come around every 4 years?
For some reason, I get texts and tweeted and called a lot about whenever the Olympics come out. Well, how come I haven't seen you there? Everybody tells the same thing.
They think you guys have automatic bids every year just to go show up.
I got tickets. Can you hook me up?
Yeah, it's like, hey, you're going to be on the podium getting that third medal. You're like, no, I'm watching it from home just like you. So yeah, no, I'm sure like all the TV stations are pumping the Cool Runnings just to get everybody in the mood for the Olympics. So I wondered if, you get the little uptick on people shout outs on the streets when the Olympics are coming around.
Yeah, well, it's funny. It's like I get the shout outs anyway. You never.
Of course. What
surprises me is like I'm always shocked at who's shouting at. Like I was like
wherever you are, whatever time of day, wherever you are, it happens.
Yeah, it's like but it's random. It's not like ridiculous, but it's kind of like 2 days ago it was like a senior citizen, a guy. He had like a walker and over. He's like, "Hey, Cool Runnings." I was like, "You saw that?"
Well, see, with the Disney classic like that, you reach all genres and all ages, so you're going to be getting recognized from any and everybody for the rest of your life. So, no, I just kind of want to see if it's something that uptick with the Olympics. But, also, I'm sure, like you're talking about, you get recognized all over the place, and you're traveling all over the place doing your stand-up. So just kind of getting into a little bit of back history with your stand-up. You got into it when you were about 17 or in high school? Like, some friends kind of influenced you? How did that kind of all get going?
Well, I mean, honestly, I was trying to meet girls in the beginning.
Of course. Why do guys do anything, right? Why do we do
shy.
anything? Yeah.
Exactly. The world there would be nothing going on in the world.
Guys would be doing nothing if girls weren't impressed by cool cars and awesome stuff that we did.
Right. That's how I got into it. I was shy and I was not doing good with the ladies. And then I thought, man, if I could get into, it was theater really. Like I got in theater, and then I was making people laugh, and then I started testing out the waters with comedy. But then like right after that, I got Cool Runnings, and then my agents were like, hey man, you're not that funny yet. So
they told you to put it on the back burner?
Yeah, they were like, your movie things, just work the movie angle for now.
Well, how long were you doing stand-up then before you kind of got into acting, or like with the kind of transitioning or doing both?
Well, I was always doing acting. I mean, I've been like, since I was like 14, it was more like a hobby. I was kind of dabbling with it. Mm-hmm. And then, but I wasn't really making any money. It was just kind of something to do on the side. And then I got into stand-up to try to meet ladies. And then after that, like, I wasn't doing stand-up for very long before I got Cool Runnings. And then they're like, my agents were like, yeah, nobody wants to see, hey, that guy from that movie, by the way, he sucks as a stand-up.
You know, those agents, they have a feel on what they're saying, but I don't think he was completely right. I think it still works out, you know, being able to see the guy from Cool Runnings do some awesome stand-up. But like, what was your like worst joke that you can remember, and what was your best one that you think that landed? Because as a young comedian, doing stand-up in those coffee shops with other comedians who all think they're 10 times funnier than you, making them laugh is like 10 times harder than an actual crowd.
Exactly. But I also didn't have. I had like a few funny things, but I really didn't have any life experience. So, you know, I was like,
you just kind of doing like situational stuff that you probably saw that day.
I was going through at the time. I was like, you know, and it was back in the day. So I was like, yeah, you ever try to text a girl? You know, I mean, what do you call it? Page a girl?
Oh, the page. Oh yeah, you tell that joke now, half the kids won't even know what you're talking about. Exactly. So well, cool. So when did you start like traveling around the world and kind of making your way all over the place with your stand up?
You know what's funny is that I kind of put it on the back burner for a while. And I started when I was doing movies and TV shows and stuff like that, and so I kind of wasn't. I was sort of going for the money because stand up, you know, you don't really make money in the beginning. And then my grandfather it was like in 2001 when it all sort of changed because my grandfather had passed away, and he'd always said to me, he's like, you know, you're pretty funny. You have so much fun when you're doing this. You should go for it. And I was like, well, everybody wants me to do movies and stuff because you can do both, but don't ignore that one.
So your grandpa should have been your agent the whole time. He was giving you the real advice.
Well, he knows me, you know. I mean, he knew
of course.
Me, you know? And then I started doing. But that was the same time that Jerry Seinfeld had this movie that came out called Comedian. Mm-hmm. And it showed him starting from scratch and going back. And that kind of inspired me. Those two things combined was a cornucopia of me getting inspired to going back out there.
Well, good. So, I mean, getting into acting and also doing the stand-up, those are two different worlds. But, like, being able to travel, being recognized for the movie that you were in, was that kind of something that kind of, it's a double-edged sword, being an iconic movie like Cool Runnings, like, you get recognized, but also you're trying to do a different thing, you're trying to do your act. Do you ever get hecklers who are just trying to throw out junior comments and things like that? Of course, I'm sure you have to do you have, like, the ultimate comeback for those hecklers?
No. My friends make fun of me. They're like, dude, why aren't you talking about Cool Runnings? You get so shy when somebody says something about Cool Runnings. And it's weird. Like, I'm expecting to get heckled with, you know, like, you suck, or, you know, like, what do you do for a living, or get off stage, or whatever, you know, that kind of stuff.
People are like, this doesn't mean that I like you. You're like, yeah, I get it.
Say something about Junior. You know, like.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, it's just like you said, it's a double-edged sword, but it's a blessing and a curse to some degree. But you probably dealt with it so much now, you either brush off your shoulders, or you just know how to deal with it at this point.
Yeah, I deal with it spontaneously, but I don't have, like, a line every time that I use.
So you gotta, like, I know, you know, Seinfeld has like a card that he just kind of pulls out, like, okay, I need to respond this one to this one, like the lines that is here all day, every day. I'm sure he hears Soup Nazi more than he would like to on a daily basis.
Oh, yeah. I need to. You know what? It's funny you said that. I need to sit down and write one of those cards. I like to deal with it in a moment. You know,
I know the actor, I forget his name, who played Biff from Back to the Future. He has like a card that he gives to fans because they're gonna ask him the same, 10 questions. How was Michael J. Fox? How was Christopher Lloyd? So he just like has a card. All those questions are asked and answered. He hands them to the people.
Is Biff getting bothered that much that he needs to have a card?
I mean, I think maybe, but maybe not, because the guy does stand up too. Actually, I'm not sure if you've ever ran into him. If you know who the guy I'm talking about.
What's name does he go by?
I'll have to look it up real quick, but like I said, he gets asked so much about Back to the Future
that's
that
funny,
he has the whatchamacallit, the
cards, the response card.
So he's like, I'm not even gonna worry about it. His name was Thomas F. Wilson.
Oh
is the actor. He in his stand up he does like a whole song about it too. So like you don't have to ask him anything. He already gets it out there. So if you come up to him, you better come up with something else. So you could be that guy. You could actually wear a shirt that has all the questions about Cool Runnings, and you're like, nope, don't even ask me. Just take the selfie and move on.
It seems so weird because I to be honest with you, like I always go through life thinking like, hey, why is that guy looking at me? Like I always kind of forget. Do you know what I mean? I don't know.
Oh, I'm
like,
sure. No, I don't know what you mean, but I can imagine, like you said, you're thinking someone's giving you a mean mug, but they're like, oh, wait, I remember him from this movie, or you like from this place. Like, yeah, you have to kind of double check yourself. You're like, oh, am I about to take somebody down today? Oh, wait, he remembered me from the movie. Like, you kind of have to slow your roll here and there, I imagine. So yeah, I just wasn't sure with the stand up. It's a mixed bag in regards to dealing with hecklers, but also being recognized as in the iconic role, but also being recognized for your talent as well as a stand up. So we'll definitely. I dabbled here and there. It's one of those like I said, like I told you, I knew about the whole going to coffee shops and trying to talk to 10 other comedians who are just waiting for their turn and they don't care what you're saying. So like you could have a gold mine of a nugget of a joke and you have no idea really.
And they'll steal that joke. They'll pretend like it's funny and then steal it.
Yeah, exactly. You have to watch out. You show up the next day, that guy's trying your same premise. You're like, come on now. So yeah, no, I dabbled. I live out here in Denver, so we have a great stand-up comedic scene. Do you come out here at all? They have like improv and a couple different
what? It's
locations.
Funny. I do the improv a lot. That's like my the club, the chain that I do the most. But I have not been to Denver.
You got to make it. You got to make it back soon. Nice. Yeah. So like I said, with stand up, I kind of wanted to get a background on that. I know some people are probably thinking you were, like you said, you started acting before, but you were known for acting even though you're doing stand up before that. So just kind of want to get a background on that. But before we get into everything else, you're going to have to settle an online legend from where you come from, because for some reason it's like spread out like a Greek myth. Like there's one story that you're from Jamaica. There's another one where you say you're from Trinidad. There's another one that says that you're from New Jersey. So,
okay, which is the number one that people think?
I see that the one they had like Trinidad, like the Caribbean background, or Jamaican descent, and then of course there's the one that comes out of nowhere, the New Jersey. So which one?
Well. Two of those are true, but
so Trinidad, it's a mixture.
Trinidad is where, for the record, Trinidad is where I was born.
Okay.
And then I moved to New Jersey when I was like 8.
Okay, so you grew up in New Jersey.
So I grew up in New Jersey, but I was born in Trinidad till I left there when I was 8 and went to New Jersey. And I joke about it in my stand-up and stuff like that. Like going from that tropical Caribbean paradise to
up to the Jersey Turnpike, yeah, exactly. Well, I feel like you're like the Tommy Wiseau, where you're trying to hide the origins of your fortune and your secrets. So you're some alien you don't want anybody to know about. It's like he's hiding something. He's hiding something. I know it.
Well, no, it's like one of those. I can't remember. It was like a magazine in England that mixed it up, because I was telling them that I lied about my. I said, "Oh yeah, and I made up all my resume because I was from Trinidad. Who's gonna check?" And so they made it like, "Oh, he made up that he was from Trinidad. Who's gonna check?" And I was like, "No, I didn't make up I was from Trinidad. I made up my acting resume because I said I did a bunch of stuff in Trinidad as a kid." Because it was pre-Google, right? So no one.
Oh yeah, well you got to hop on Wikipedia and get on top of it. They're spreading all kinds of rumors on there. So we've locked it down. The true origin was the Trinidad, but grew up in New Jersey.
Exactly.
All right. Well, perfect. Well, like we talked about, like growing up in New Jersey. Is that kind of where you got like the acting bug, like being around New York and like those type of like entertainment areas, or was it more like watching TV, movies?
Yeah, it was both. I mean, New Jersey was kind of tough, so I didn't really go outside that much.
Mm-hmm. Kind of cloudy and tough all the time.
Yeah, plus I had like a Caribbean accent. I remember I used to get made fun of a lot, and so there was a lot of staying home and watching TV. Mm-hmm. And my mom was the one who was like, "You got to go outside. You got to get him back,"
That's when you just go run around the hallway for half an hour and come back.
Exactly.
Like, I did it.
Exactly.
When working, then like you got into some of the acting, some of the roles. Like you were on Spy Hard with Leslie Nielsen, which Leslie Nielsen's a comedic legend. You've worked with a couple so far, but Leslie Nielsen, of course, the Frank Drebber, for those who can't remember from Police Squad or Naked Gun series. So you're a fan of the Naked Gun series before working with.
Yeah, man. I actually, even before that, he had didn't he do is it Police Story? One of those things.
Yeah, it was Police Squad was the
Squad,
TV show, and then they made it to that, and then they had Airplane, of course, before that.
Yeah, exactly. So from Airplane, all those, I really liked him a lot. But I remember him from Breakfast at Tiffany's. He did I'm a big fan of movies, I was telling you.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that he was serious in the beginning, and then he flipped to being funny, I guess in the 70s. But so I was a big fan of his, and then I got to work with him, and he was, and I spent 3 weeks on the set with him, and he was one of those guys who walked around with a fart machine. So he would stand next to you and make that fart, and Jesus Christ, Rawle. So he was hilarious, and he was I don't know how old he was, but he was up there when I worked with him.
Yeah, he's in the 70s. Yeah.
But I remember thinking, man, this guy is just like a kid. He's having fun, and he kind of inspired me a little bit.
Yeah, because everything I've seen him in, I've seen him in movies since I was a kid, like you said, The Airplane, the Naked Gun, and he's always acted like a little kid, and he's this old man, an old man to us. For me, being a young kid, you see him, he's an old man. You never see old men act that way. They're always so strict and by the rules and things like that. So when you see an older guy acting like a kid like he did, and I would see YouTube videos later on where he did side promotions for golf tournaments and stuff like that, and he'd be doing cartwheels on the golf cart and stuff like that. So I'm this guy was just nuts, and that's why we all loved him. He had that deadpan delivery, which came from his dramatic acting, like you talked about. He was originally a dramatic actor, and then when the directors for Airplane came along, they're they didn't want comedians because they knew comedians would try to deliver it like a comedian. So let's get serious actors in here, and it'll come off a little more deadpan and come off hopefully more funny, and it's worked. It made his career at that point, and so seeing that you got to work with him, I'm sure he had a few pranks up his sleeves, like you said, with the fart machine.
He'd do that fart machine. He would put extra pepper in your lunch, stuff like that, so you'd be sneezing and stuff.
He's always scheming, it sounds like. Then
he was just funny, though. It was just kind of funny, and he just was he would get a kick out of playing funny stuff and laughing and stuff. And I was like, man, he's one of those guys that you're this guy's having fun doing his, he didn't take his job that seriously. He didn't act like a movie star or anything like that. He
wasn't a diva or anything. He just enjoyed his life.
Exactly.
Yeah, he was one of those. When he passed, I was definitely sad. It was a sad day to hear about that one.
I mean, I got lucky because John Candy was like that too.
Yeah, exactly. And we're actually just kind of going to move into that as well. Talk about Cool Runnings. In 1993, you co-starred in the Disney classic about the 1988 Winter Olympic Jamaican bobsled team and their journey to the Olympics. So did you know anything about, did you know about the story when you first got involved with the whole process?
Yeah, I kind of heard about it through the rumor mill.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because I'd heard about the movie, and I just heard about what they did. But at the time, I didn't watch Winter Olympics. I was that was my thing.
Coming from Trinidad, I can't see why the Winter Olympics weren't your favorite thing.
Yeah, I didn't even know you could. That's something that wasn't even on my radar. But then when I heard about the story, I go, man, that's pretty badass. These guys doing that, because I come from an island that's not far from Jamaica, And I actually
so you could very well be in that situation.
Yeah, and I've been to Jamaica too because I have Jamaica. A part of my family is from Jamaica as well. But so it was kind of what? That's what they did. And then when I was reading I came in the movie bass backwards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I want to talk about that. You initially didn't audition, but you eventually worked your way into the role. Let's talk about that a little bit. You're doing the readings for other characters, basically.
Exactly. Hey, man, you did your research.
That's what I do here. So yeah, just tell us about how you got into that. Because what kind of landed that role to do the readings? Yeah,
I was doing a play, and we lived in L.A. then. My family lived in L.A. then, so I was doing this play. And in the play, that's where the whole myth confusion comes up or where I was born, because as I was telling you in the play, when you get a play, they give you this program. They have a program where the people in the audience look and they see, oh, there's this actor and this is what they've done before. Well, I hadn't really done shit.
So, he's like, I gotta have something.
So I added all this stuff in Trinidad because I figured, who the hell is gonna check that?
And like you said, pre-Google, no one's checking.
Right. I made it up. I played a pickpocket. I was this. I had all this crap. I made up movies called Tourist Season. Made it sound all island. Like this Trinidad doesn't even have a big film industry, so I just made a bunch of stuff up.
They work the system pre-Google. That's the way to do it.
Right. So I did that, but there was a lot of Caribbean stuff in my bio. Mm-hmm. And so there was a casting director there, and she saw me. And I had not that big a part in the play, but she sort of took a liking to me, and then she read all this on the bio to say, oh, he's from the Caribbean. That's interesting. And that, fortunately, that all that BS paid off, because she saw the Caribbean stuff, and then she goes, hey, I want you to come in and help. She goes, can you do the accent? Is this a movie about Jamaicans? I was like, yeah, and I did the accent for her and stuff like that. I was like, yeah, that's my family. That's my life.
You just do like an uncle that from the barbecue or something like that.
Exactly. And then she goes, hey, I want you to come in and help me gauge the actors, who has the best accent, who's doing it right, because we're like, And I was like, perfect. So I came in, I was a reader, and I want you to read in that accent, so give them the feel of it. She goes, but we're looking for known actors, so don't try to get in, don't try to read and audition for it because readers do that.
Oh yeah.
They're reading, but they're giving it this.
I mean, that's how Harrison Ford became Han Solo. He was exactly. reading with Kurt Russell and just kind of flipped the switch on him.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can see where they're looking to be cautious, but hey, who's not going to try if they're that close to a role? Who's not going to put in a little extra effort?
Right. And so they were kind of like deterring me from that. They're like, don't be one of those guys. But I was like, all right, cool. But I kind of listened to them. But when my friends came in, I would really because you're kind of facing the casting people are behind you, and you're kind of facing the actor, so they can't see you. So I'd give them a little wink and a nod, like when it was someone I knew. I was like, I'm going to give you a little extra just so you could get into it, and I would really go for it so that my friends could just, because a lot of times readers are very, very flat. The casting director's flat and dry, and it's hard for the actor to act against them. But I was like, no, I'm going to give you some heat. But what happened was the casting director and the director behind me was like, holy shit, this guy's really going for it.
He's giving it to him. Yeah,
they're like, he's actually not that bad. And so, and then there was the writers in the other room behind, and the writers would come out. I found out all this afterwards. The writers would come out and go, hey, who's that other guy? We heard that other voice. And they go, oh, that's the reader. He goes, shit, why don't we hire the reader?
And then they're so set on big names, like you talked about from the beginning.
Yeah.
Like they were considering Marlon Wayans for your part. Is that right?
Yeah, it was almost everybody that came in. Like, it was like Cuba Gooding Jr. read. It was like Wesley Snipes had read for it at one time. So
and Eddie Murphy as well, and Denzel. Like you said, everybody came in.
Yeah, everybody was came in. I don't know. I don't remember Denzel. I mean, I never saw Denzel, but I think he probably got an offer or something, maybe.
Did you read against anybody, or like with anybody, or like Cuba or Kurt Russell or anything like that?
No, not Kurt Russell, because it was more the other people that play bobsledders. I remember there was a lot of rappers from the 90s were coming in, like Young MC and
like DMX. DMX was coming in.
He was in the New York portion, but there's all these rappers and Cool Mo D and people like that and stuff
Cool
like that.
Mo D was trying to get on Cool Runnings. Man,
a lot of people was claiming they had like Jamaican parents and uncles.
Oh yeah! All of a sudden, the people who are Native Americans, like, oh, that 1/16 of cent comes out real quick.
Exactly. So it's one of those, and then eventually they were like, hey, they started considering me, but not telling me about it. Mm-hmm. But so I kind of was. It was made clear to me that I wasn't going to be up for it, so I kind of had a freedom that probably helped me because I really didn't give a shit.
Probably. I mean, honestly, I hear that a lot with people, with actors who are like, it's at that one audition I just didn't give a shit about that all of a sudden they love me. I'm like, oh, I mean,
Right.
but then you do that. I don't give a shit at every audition. All of a sudden, you're the guy who doesn't give a shit. And so you're like, oh, the guy needs to try, but we love him. So yeah, no, I thought it was great that, you know, like you said, it was ass backwards. So you got into the role, like you were initially just on the other, literally on the other side of the role, and then of course they wanted to make the switch to go from, you know, they're looking for the bigger names, but they wanted to give you your shot as well, which, you know, you proved yourself, honestly, which is awesome to prove yourself and get into that spot. So just kind of moving into some other stuff about the role itself. I read that the script apparently not maybe had issues, but it was more of a serious drama before they made it into like the Disney comedy that it is. So did you like read any parts or any like versions of the script where it had real dramatic parts, and did any of those make the movie?
No, nothing at all, because it was like Brian, I think there was a British director.
I thought you were going to say it was like Brian's song. I'm like, oh no, super sad.
Yeah, with bobsledders. We all died at the end. No. No, it was like Brian Singer, I think the director was. Like,
oh wow, a young Brian Singer.
Yeah, the director was like, it was called Blue Maga.
Yeah, I saw that too. What does that even mean?
That was who knows, but but it means skinny. I mean, maga in Caribbean means skinny, like when somebody's maga. So I don't even know what that doesn't even make sense from a Caribbean brain.
It's like a name of a drink. Give me the Blue Maga.
Exactly.
2 of them.
Exactly. That like will mess you up, man.
Oh, don't touch the blue.
Get messed up.
Don't touch it. Don't touch it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was called Blue Maga, and then it was like Wesley Snipes was attached, and it was very serious, and it was very dealing with a lot of the racism of it and all that stuff of you not being accepted and all. But it was way too intense for like Jamaican bobsledders.
And did Disney own it at that point, or was it still pre-Disney?
I think it was like a division of Disney, which was called Touchstone, I think at the time. Okay. So it was their serious division.
Yeah, they had that branch. They could still do their little PG-13s, PGs without getting too crazy. Yeah, and then it switched over to Disney. Once it switched over to Disney, then like you could tell they saw it as they were like, oh, okay, this is gonna be a comedy. And I think it's a family comedy movie type of situation.
Here's a little tidbit for you that you could probably put in there if you don't already know, is that that Disney wasn't even feeling the movie. They were like, this is gonna be stupid. But the producer was so behind it, she was really into the movie. And she understood. She saw it like Rocky on Ice and stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So she, I think they traded with her. She had another story about a gospel singer. It was a gospel singer who from the hood who changed these people's lives. The inner city kids, and they kind of adopted that story in the Sister Act too. I was literally gonna say, is that Sister Act of some sort that I'm thinking? Yeah. Well, that was based on a real thing. So they incorporated her story, Sister Act into Sister Act 2, and then they're like, all right. If you give us the story, we'll let you do your little cool runnings or whatever. So that was kind of nice. That was all pre-production. Like they were just ready to let it go, and all of a sudden she just kind of last 11th hour came in. They were kind of afraid it would be stupid and it wouldn't make that much money. Mm-hmm. Well, they were wrong. $14 million made like 155 or something like that. It's like, and counting. Yeah, that's true. Because it's like I've made more money in residuals from the video and all that stuff than anything else. Do you get different amounts of money for VHS, DVDs, and the different media, or is it all just one flat rate? No, it is different. It's just like you'll see cable. I don't know about the rental as much anymore because it's not like a big. It's like Netflix just kind of changed that game. Yeah, it really has. The place down my place, the video store down from my spot just closed. It was a sad day. Like just recently? Yeah, like a couple months ago. Damn, that it lasted that long? It did. It's some older, and it was the worst because some older guy was in there just all chippy and like having a great day every day, and all of a sudden I walked by and it was gone. It was like in a movie. I was like, oh, just and that people were still renting, huh? The red box is across the street at a grocery store, so that's the demise as it is. Yeah.
But yeah, of course, like Cool Runnings came out in '93, so this is the heyday of VHS, and the rentals were just coming like into their heyday as well. So like that thing was like blew up.
I was making some money off of rentals.
Oh,
because people would rent the hell out of it, and so it was kind of shocking because like years later, I was like, damn, really?
Still getting those checks?
Yeah,
keep getting those checks.
But ever since Netflix, that rental thing is not looking as good. But you'll see cable run on your checks. You'll see,
I'm sure every 4 years you're gonna see that super influx when the Winter or the Summer Olympics come on. They start playing Cool Runnings on TV. All of a sudden you're like, oh, okay, I guess I can go on that trip today that I've been thinking about going on. So nice. Well, some other things about Cool Runnings, and then we have some Twitter questions and shout outs. So did you have to do any training? You're gonna be running in the movie a lot. Did you do any training beforehand? Did you just go in? I'm all natural.
Nah, that wasn't. Nah, we all went to. For the most part, we had the running part was easy because we're all island people. So, I was running anyway.
Who was the fastest of you four in real life?
I don't want to brag, but when we were shooting that scene, I had to slow down to look like.
You're like, I gotta trip these guys. I can't beat them. I gotta trip them.
Because everybody got competitive and like your ego kicked.
Oh, I'm sure. Like you're like, guys, you have to lose. They get all trying to beat each other.
Right. But I actually I find myself, I was like, I thought I kept having to slow down to make sure that I'm the same level as them.
Oh, well, so I'm sure on the set you're like, oh man, I'm just trying to keep up with you guys, but in your head you're like, man, I got these guys beat every time.
These fools. Yeah.
How many times you had to film the falling down and all that good stuff?
Oh man, that was a good half a day, man. That was a lot. Yeah.
You're all bruised up, all torn up after that one?
Nah, not really.
Not too bad. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't the slow motion makes it look worse. No, I didn't. See, the movie magic right there.
We fell on the mat, and so I didn't have to.
I was telling a buddy the other day, I was like, you know what? When I watched the movie again and watching Olympics recently, I saw there's a rule, and if it was in Olympic skating, that if you fall at the beginning or at some point and you take out the other racers, you start over. So it's like an incentive to knock over other people. I was like, I don't know if that really applies in this situation. I think Junior just fell and went sideways on everybody. Right.
And also in track, back then in track, that was kind of like something that would happen.
Yeah, it just fall. You just had whoever's still up, they're the ones who are placing. There's no restart, there's no second chance. That's how it went. So yeah, no, I wasn't sure because I know people are always just like, well, he went down, he went sideways. Was he trying to stop the race, or does Junior he just like, you know what? Fuck everybody else. They're all going down.
Like, if I'm gonna fall, we're all falling.
Yeah, we're all going down. So, or it might have been a real life situation. You guys are being competitive during the shoot, and you're like, you know what? Nobody's winning this race. I'm taking everyone down. So that's probably what happened. So there's the mysteries unlocked. The last thing too I want to get into about Cool Runnings was John Candy. You got to work with another comedic, iconic comedian from Canada and from America. So I'm sure filming in Jamaica or filming in Calgary, of course, he's a super icon in Canada. It's like walking around with the Beatles with him, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. That was actually pretty cool because he was the most normal celebrity, like super celebrity I'd ever been around. Like, he taught me that you could handle, fame and stuff like that and still be a regular person. Because when we were in Canada, he's getting stopped. People in
left
the street,
and right.
Hey, John, pop. I saw him put a guy in a headlock. Because the guy
I'm sure people buying him beers left and right, that kind of stuff.
That kind of, well, they wanted to, yeah, that kind of stuff. And he walked around with an entourage, but he still was accessible. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, people would just, hey, John. He was like, hey, buddy, what's your name? Blah blah blah. He just talked to people.
Oh, great.
And then, he was just as funny and gregarious and giving as his characters. He's kind of a playful, funny guy.
He was like that charming, like fun uncle that everybody wanted to hang out with, and just like gave you great advice and just always making you laugh. It always seemed like in a good mood, and it would like you never saw them in a bad mood type of situation.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's real. Like, I saw him. He was very protective.
Mm-hmm.
I remember like somebody on the set, one of the ADs was yelling at us, "Come on, Yank! I told you guys." And he ripped into this guy. He was like, "Don't you ever yell at my guys like that."
Nice. So he
John is a
basically
big
took on the
dude.
coach. Yeah, he took on the Coach Blitzer role for you guys.
Yeah, he did, and he kind of ripped this guy a new one. And we were like, "Holy shit!" John's like about to rip this guy apart.
Don't
And
poke
guy
the
was
bear.
serious. Yeah, exactly. It was cool. His kids, we just had the 25th anniversary.
Yeah, I saw that. You guys did a screening.
Yeah, and then I got to meet his kids, and because I hadn't seen them since they were like, kids like teen, 13, and then one was like 7 or something like that. So I got to tell them stories about John, which is funny because I realized that they're learning about their dad through other people's experiences.
That's so interesting to kind of talk to people that way and just like learn about your family through other people's stories. That's so crazy.
Because I remember telling them a few stories, and they're like, "Wow, I never knew he did that," and they were kind of like just taking it in, Like,
I mean, it's gonna be your kids, they're gonna be learning stuff from like, oh, your dad, I watch him all the time. He's the reason I do the single man bobsled. I'm the craziest man alive thanks to your dad situation. One of those
like that. I hope it's not like your dad was kind of a pervert.
I don't think so. No, I think Junior will live on forever with those with this generation. No problem. So did you? What are some of your favorite movies of his that you enjoyed before you guys worked together?
John, Uncle Buck was definitely one.
Yeah, Uncle Buck and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles were.
Yes, those two were good. But I also saw he had one called Only the Lonely.
Yeah,
that came out just before Cool Runnings, and I remember telling him the story about how I went and bought one ticket to see Only the Lonely, and he started laughing about it. That was when I knew that I was like, man, I need to get my shit together.
It's like pre John Candy, before he was John Candy, like Armed and Dangerous, Who's Harry Crumb, like those movies are like, those are really good movies that people need to check out. The underrated John Candies that you don't have to watch like at every holiday season. Like Armed and Dangerous with Eugene Levy is an underrated comedy. You gotta people gotta see that one.
Yeah, and what's so funny, man, is like when he's joking around, you feel like you're watching one of his movies. Like when you're
just like in real life, just watching it.
You're like, I was like, I remember even saying that to him on the set. I was like, John, you're just that guy, huh? That guy that you play in these movies. He goes, you better believe it, buddy. He's like,
it's how you get them checks. It's how you get them checks, man.
Because he goes, yeah, but he was allowed to improvise a lot in roles, so he was adding a lot of himself in there.
Well, I mean, with his comedic background and the chops that he had, I'm sure they let him go. I'm sure there's some great takes that we didn't get to see of John going at it, especially probably like in those bar scenes when he was pre transition to coach when he was in his desperation phase. So that kind of leads me to my last question too, real quick, about Cool Runnings. Is are there any deleted scenes that were cut from the movie that maybe enhance the connection between plot lines? Like, why is Sanka's lucky egg so lucky? Why is Yul Brynner so angry? Or why is John Candy wearing that Rasta hat at the end?
No, let me think about that. That's a good question. Wow, because it's so long ago.
Cool, because a buddy and I were watching it the other day doing a commentary, and we're just like, what? The movie held up. By the way, it's still as great as it was, if not better. Because as an adult, you get to appreciate more of the jokes and more of the things that are happening, even the undertones, the commentary that's going on as well. So of course, it's been a while, so I watched it full through. You just watch it all the time whenever it's on TV, and we just kind of realized it's like, man, this thing holds up really, really well, and like it's gonna be great, showing everybody all the time.
I remember seeing a tweet from, I'm not Seth Rogen's friend or anything like that, but I saw someone sent me a tweet of his. They're like, wow, he's like, just watch Cool Runnings. Man, it really holds up.
Exactly. It's just one of because there's so many 90s movies that we go back to. Like, oh, I remember that movie when I was like 9 and I watched it, and you go back like, that movie is shit. Why did I even love it? But Cool Runnings definitely does not fall in that category. So we were just watching. It's just like, I wonder if some of these plot lines, if there's any deleted scenes that connected them.
Let me think. But before I answer this question, I will say that I watched it again for the first time at the 25th anniversary, and I was like, wow, this really held up, or like I got across what I wanted to get across. But the slow clap thing always cracks me up. It's like no one does that. It's
this ultimate 90s thing, the ultimate. My buddy and I were doing it too.
Like, huh. That's so uncomfortable to clap like that.
He's like, slow clap. This is my time. This is my time to start it. Okay, let's start it right now. Yeah, no, it's the slow clap has been parodied so many times thanks to '90s classics. So
It was one of the first movies to do it.
Oh yeah, no, the sports movies they're open for it. They're fair game when it comes to the slow clap. But well, if you can't think of one, if you can come back to everything.
I'll answer your question, Nick. The thing is, not so much plot, piecing the plot, because it was pretty thin. It was everything that was on the page was pretty much planned out. Mm-hmm. But I think the scenes that were cut out, there was a lot more hilarity and shenanigans that was just funny for no reason, but didn't really need to be in the movie. Mm-hmm. There was tons of that, especially with Dougie Doug.
Oh, I'm sure Dougie Doug.
John Candy and Dougie Doug. There were just a lot of goofing off and playing around, and then. So, I mean, there were some funny scenes in there that I was like, man, I wish they had done like the bloopers of behind the scene, because it was just hilarious. Like, people were laughing on the set, like cracking up.
And do you own any like the DVDs? Do they have like bonus features? They like maybe put some of those in there at all? None of them showed up yet? I
haven't seen any of those. I'm kind of surprised, because I was like, man, that's one that they kind of missed the boat on.
Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't brought you. Did you guys do a commentary for the movie as well? Or are they like trying to bring you back? Let's see, they need to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's probably what would be cool. But I mean, do people still do that?
Yeah.
Netflix
I mean, the Netflix, they don't provide it as an option, but like if you rent something from Amazon now and actually rented something from Redbox, and you can actually they have the bonus features like the commentaries and stuff like that. And I buy Blu-rays and stuff just to watch the commentaries and learn more about the movie itself. So yeah, that's why it's like with some of the celebrities I've talked to, I've asked them like, hey, did you do a commentary for your movie? They're like, no, they didn't ever even bother calling us back. They would do the director or like the cinematographer for some comedy. I'm like, why does it care if the cinematographer here for a comedy? I want to hear the actors. So it's a shame that they haven't, but we gotta have you back and do a commentary then for Cool Running, so we can find out some more of these awesome stories. But moving on, we have Twitter questions and Twitter shout outs from a bunch of listeners. I put out a tweet the other day and people blew up. People were excited that you're going to be on the show. They're excited to hear everything about Cool Runnings and about you. So they provided some questions that we're going to go over here. So we'll just go through these right now. So the first one is the Halloween podcast at the Halloween podcast. His question is, how much running did he have to do in the film? So how much would you say you actually like sprinted and ran?
Sprinted and ran. Well, there was a lot. Actually, most of the physical stuff was running. So there was training scenes of running. There was a running into. The only thing we really trained hard was to run and get into the bobsled.
Was it like the very first time you got it in the movie? You guys just trying to get a foot in, couldn't get the foot in.
Exactly, because you got to get that looking organized, because it looks like hell when you don't get in right.
It really does. It's like a finely tuned machine. You got to watch it go in.
And you're running on ice too, so that's we had these spikes on for ice on us, and then you don't want to spike each other when you jump in.
Oh man, so see that's another factor I didn't even think about. It's probably scraping up your wrists and stuff like that, trying to jump in.
I got spiked in the back of my leg.
Oh yeah, see that's something you don't even think about. So now we know. See, it's all worth it. All the running was worth it.
So most of it was running.
Okay, well, yeah, as I say, because I mean, I know you guys did the track meet part, which was probably like you said a half day, but the rest of it was in the cold out there on the bobsled, all that good stuff. So
a lot of the training sequence, you see us running a lot.
How heavy was the bobsled you guys were pushing? Was the actual like heavy, like the actual weight, or was it like a little lighter?
No, we didn't. They didn't give us a break.
They didn't give you a break at all. They put more weight.
They were like it was an actual bobsled, so it was the same weight as the bobsled and everything, because that was one of the training parts we did the most. Was we went to like a bobsled camp, and we ran and by this French guy who was like a drill sergeant.
Yeah, he wasn't letting you guys take a break for anything.
He wasn't letting us be any pansy actors. He was you're gonna learn this thing, but we were hyped to do it because we didn't want to look like idiots.
Yeah, and it's a new life experience on top of that as well.
Yeah, plus we met the real guys, and they were so like sort of dignified. And
so were they on set for a lot of the shoot, or just like at one point you met them, like at one point?
Yeah, at one point we met them, and they were just so, because we were trying to figure out what it felt like, what was their deal.
Because you weren't really trying to match personalities, you're more just like kind of get a feel for how they were, kind of a situation.
Exactly. Yeah, we couldn't because they were like so laid back. It would have been
it just been a bland movie.
Yeah.
4 dudes making it to the Olympics.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
cool.
So, anyway, so the running part was the most, and the training to jump in the bobsled was the most training.
Well, at this point in time, the way some people get into the Olympics, you guys might still have a chance to get into the Olympics on some bobsled teams. So who knows? You might get that training back out. The next question, we had the Mockers Podcast. At Mockers Podcast says their question is, has he considered a movie regarding a Jamaican curling team? Is there a Jamaican curling team? Is his question. No. I'm pretty sure there is, but I didn't see them on the runs. There's usually Canada and USA.
So like curl runnings is what he's talking about?
Yeah, there you go. That's the sequel. I mean, well, it's a natural thing. If you guys are a little bit older, you're not going to be sprinting down the ice. The next thing is to be like 4 dads who are basically winning the curling they did this last Winter Olympics is basically what happened. A
natural progression, right?
Yeah. You hand in the baton to the bobsledders and you go on to curling.
Well, it's so funny you say that because I did a spoof trailer. I was in the spoof trailer. It's a mock trailer of a movie called Black Ice.
Uh-oh.
And it's about the first black curling team.
Oh, what?
Yeah, and I played a dad. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, it's got to go on the link.
I played the dad of the guy who wants to be a curler. So my son is I'm like, no son of mine's going out there curling, you know.
This is destiny then. Yeah,
and I'm like making fun. I mean, teasing my son. I'm like, son, that's white ice, you know.
You're going on black ice. It's not what we do right now. Curling's not for us. Right? He goes on, he wins like the first prize. Like, okay, it is. We're doing this.
It's like a fake. It's a trailer for a fake movie.
Well, we have to check that out because you just made this guy's dream at this point with the curling movie. So yeah, so he does have a curling. He has a curling movie and he has a trailer for it. So we'll have that linked down as well. The next question is from Miggy Baz at Miggy Baz, and their question is: did the guys get down on did the guys get to go down the bobsled course for real anytime?
Yes, but it was off the record because we couldn't go during the filming because of insurance. When they do movies, they insure the actors so that in case, you know, so you don't kill yourself. But we weren't allowed to bobsled. We would jump in the bobsled and there would be a cable on there. And when you see the movie, they stop you. There's a little wire, and so you jump in and then it stops. And then so
it's like a fighter jet on the carrier, so they land and they catch you, kind of a situation.
Exactly. And so we don't go any further, and then the stuntmen get in. And some of them are white, so they put a little black on their necks. So they worked in black neck, not black. Oh,
face. that's can that be considered blackface? Can we get a suit going for that one?
So black neck doesn't count, I guess.
Okay, it's not quite there.
No. And then they went down. So, but afterwards, after the filming, the guys goes, "Hey, you want to go?" A couple of people who were training with us were real bobsledders. And he goes, "You guys want to see what it feels like?" And we're like, "Hell yeah!" So we actually went in secret. And at one night we snuck out, and we weren't allowed to drive. We had to be in the middle. So they'll take 2 of us at a time. Yeah. And so because they're not crazy, they're not like gonna let us drive or be the brake person, because those are the hardest parts. Mm-hmm. But we got to sit in there and shift with them.
The middle is more for weight balance, right? Is that kind of what they are for? Okay.
Yeah, for speed to start. If you're a starter, like to help push it, if you're fast, that helps. But once you jump in it, you're just not a human weight.
Well, it's funny too, because in the movie they hate John Candy because he adds weight or whatever to the bobsled. But in real rules, adding weight to bobsled is totally legal, which is crazy. That's they kind of pick that. Because there's like a minimum and a max weight limit that they can stay within. But if I guess, I don't know, maybe he put too much. Maybe he put too much weight. Yeah, I guess he he was using gold bars instead of like actual lead or something.
Exactly.
Like, John, Jesus, you can't be just like pushing stuff in front of people's faces like that. So no, that was kind of I was a little wondering about that as well. Let's see. I'm trying to think about the next question. We got 2 more questions. We got what were they thinking at WWTT Podcast. So I need to know all about working with John Candy and how he was with the actors playing the bobsled team members. And that's our last question goes in with John Candy as well. What was it like with John Candy? So any other stories that you have like with John Candy you want to share?
Yeah, John Candy. First of all, was to me was one of the only ones because, like I said, Disney wasn't sure. In retrospect, in like Monday Morning Quarterback, they now think it's like, yeah, it was a great idea for us to do this movie, but they didn't really believe in it. But John Candy was like, no, they don't know what they have. I get it. We're gonna stick together. We're gonna act like a real team. We're not gonna be like actors who are like just kind of work on the set and then go off to a trailer and say,
yeah, exactly.
So he did things where he would invite us to his room and we'd eat together, and he made us all. This is back when you were burning CDs was a cool thing,
and playing cards in the hotel room as opposed to like watching Netflix and stuff like that.
Well, there was no Netflix. But,
well, as opposed to watching Netflix, you're like, oh, we're playing cards because there's nothing else to do.
Right. But he made us. He made some CDs for each one of us, and he'd label it. He'd say this one's Junior, and he played music. He added music how he felt about our character.
Oh wow!
And that was kind of fun. And he.
So, what are some songs that he picked for you, for Junior?
I'm trying to remember. I think I still have that CD, but some of them were on the soundtrack. One of them is I Can See Clearly Now, the Jimmy Cliff song.
That one apparently, like that version of the song is like the ultimate version now. Like that's the only song people will play.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, wasn't he the original, or did he remake it?
I think they they had the original version, and I think they remastered it for the movie, and I think people just kind of latched on to the remastered version of it. But yeah, as I say, it's one of those that's kind of the movies that help blow up things, like the E.T. that helped Reese's Pieces beat M&M's one year in sales. Those kind of weird situations.
Yeah. The main thing that I could say about John Candy, though, is that he was just a lot like his characters on his movies. He's a gregarious guy, friendly, warm, and kind, just like a big heart. And I kind of was impressed with that. And he was the most down-to-earth movie star I'd ever been around. Like, he didn't act like a movie star. He was like a regular. I mean, meanwhile, the guy in Canada, as huge as he was, as a big star as he was in America, like in Canada, it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
He was like a Beatle. You know,
half the reason he was like, you know what, I need this role because we're going to be traveling to Canada, and you know, people absolutely love me up there. And yeah, I imagine it's like the Beatles, like up there, because he's just an icon, not only here but even bigger one with our friends up to the north. So I can't imagine some of the awesome experience you guys got to experience with each other. So yeah, that's awesome. I know that people were definitely looking to hear some stories about John Candy, and it's great to hear that he lives up to expectations, that he is, like you said, the guy that we see on the movies and that we've come to love. That's who he was, and that's what we can remember him from. So definitely that's an awesome thing to go for. So thanks everyone for the Twitter shout outs and the questions. Rawle, we got one more thing we're going to do before we end the podcast, and this is a game I like to call Did I Say That? It's kind of like the Steve Urkel Did I Do That, but more Did I Say That? And it's a game where we challenge our celebrity guests with 3 rounds of quotes from their movie to see if they remember the lines they said.
From our own movie.
From your own movie. So we're not trying to stump you with all other movies. It's from Cool Runnings. We're going to stick with Cool Runnings, and we're going to see if we can stump you or not. Okay. So are you ready?
Go for it.
All right, here we go. So we're going round 1, quote number 1, and you'll pick which one it is after I list the 3 quotes. So the first one is going to be, "This doesn't mean that I like you," and I'm going to leave off the Jamaican accents for many purposes.
That
and
was pretty good.
We're going to go for quote number 2. "You don't see the Swiss team fighting, do you?" And then quote number 3. "How about Tallulah?" So which one was your quote?
That's easy.
Oh yeah.
How about Tallulah?
How about Tallulah? Sounds like a prostitute's name. That one actually got the biggest laugh out of me on the rewatch for sure. Okay, so now we're going to round number 2. First quote is, Sanka, you dead? Quote number 2, Yule, that's where the queen lives. Quote number 3, hey dreadlocks, let me kiss your lucky egg. So which one was yours?
Before I say, you're cracking me up because you're doing a little bit of an accent.
I know, it's hard not to do it. It's so hard not to.
It's not bad. Part 2, we got to audition for part 2.
I'm almost there.
Yule, that's where the queen lives.
He was so confused. He was a hater of the Hulk. I was upset that Yule was such a hater of the Hulk comic as well. So it's like, Hulk, you can't be angry at everything, Yule. Just can't be angry at everything.
Yeah. He was going through, so he had some issues.
He did. He had an interesting arc for sure. All right, now we're down to the last round, round 3. So quote number 1 is, greetings, sled god. Quote number 2, don't touch me. Quote number 3, I see pride, I see power, I see a badass mother who don't take crap off of nobody.
Okay.
So which one was it?
Because you're making it so easy, I'm gonna say, greedy. I'm gonna tell you who said what in each one of those quotes.
Beautiful.
So, greetings, sled god, Sanka Coffee. Right?
Yes.
Wait, what was it?
Who has the most? Who thinks more so angry they don't want nobody touching them?
Dreadlocks. No, dreadlocks. Yule.
Oh, the dreadlocks. Yes. That's Yule kissing the pea-filled lucky egg.
Yes, your dreadlocks. That's Yule Brenner. And then mine, of course, was, I see pride. I see power. I see a badass mother who won't take crap from nobody.
I love it.
That was actually an audition scene, by the way.
I watched that the other day. That got me pumped up. I watched it like 2 or 3 times. Just like, I was like, to see what the quote says. And I was just like, I was getting pumped. Yule's getting me pumped. You were getting me pumped. I was like, man, no wonder this worked on Junior, because it works in real life.
Yeah.
So yes, you remembered. So you remember all 3 of your lines from the movie. Awesome. Or at least 3 of the many of lines that you had in the movie. So congratulations on that. So if we had a sequel,
2 weeks ago.
So if we had the sequel, you'd be in it, no problem. So yeah, well, Rawle, that was everything I wanted to go over. I want to thank you again for taking the time to be on the podcast. Let the badass mothers out there know where they can follow you online to find out what you have coming up next for your next project, your next, where you're going to be for your stand-up act, all that good stuff.
Yeah, man. For stand-up, you can find me. I always post everything on Instagram and Facebook. So everything is always Rawle TV. That's I
would say RAWLE. Yeah.
And then TV. Yeah. And then Facebook, it's Rawle D Lewis. And on Insta, let's see, what do I have? I don't even have Snapchat. I just have Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Twitter is Rawle TV.
Yeah, Instagram is basically 3-in-1 at this point in time.
Yeah, exactly. I love Instagram though. That's a lot of times I'll put stuff about shows. But if you can just go Rawle.tv and you'll find me there too.
Perfect. We'll get the links in the description so everyone can find out what your next projects are. When's your next stand-up act gonna be? Where do you plan on being in the next few weeks?
Stand-up wise, my next thing is I'm supposed to be in Vegas. You can't be sick for Vegas. You can't be sick for Vegas. You gotta get all cleaned up now. Yeah, exactly. The Vegas, Palm Springs, and I'm planning to do an overseas in London. I'm gonna be in London.
Very nice.
Oh wait, I know where I'm gonna be I'm gonna Cinco de Mayo. I'm supposed to be in El Paso, Texas.
Oh, look at you hitting all the right demographics of the right spots. you're gonna be in Ireland for St. Paddy's Day this weekend, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, you know your crowds. Well, awesome. Well, we'll get the links up so everyone can follow you and they can get tickets if you're coming to their nearest city, so they can come see Junior perform some stand up. Don't yell at him about anything about Junior. Let him do his thing. Laugh at him. Laugh at his awesome jokes. Don't laugh at him for Junior.
Yeah, and I'll give you the black ice, the link to black ice.
Oh yes, and we're gonna catch that black ice because we're gonna make someone's dreams come true when it comes to the curling sequel. So
just
so
tell us that y'all want to see that movie.
Oh yeah, no, we'll get a petition going. Don't you worry. We get that. Was it 50,000 for the White House to at least look at it? So we might work for that one. We'll see. So Rawle, again, I appreciate you taking the time. So we'll get everything linked up for everybody to check out. But everybody else, thanks for tuning into this episode of the Be Kind and Rewind podcast. Make sure you tune in every Throwback Thursday for new episodes of the podcast. Subscribe, like, follow, and rate the podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud, Spreaker, YouTube, and Poop Culture Podcast Network at poopculture.com. And also follow the podcast on social media on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Be Kind Rewind Pod for all of your nostalgic needs. So thanks and be excellent to each other.
What you just heard was a podcast in the Poop Culture Extended Universe. For more great podcasts, make your way to www.poopculture.com.